Welcome, Fuse Nation, to the 5th Sports Fusion episode today. My name is Alex Fuse. Thank you for taking the time out of your night to watch the show. On tonight's show, he works for News Channel 10. He is the anchor there for the news station, Mr. John Gray. So, John, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Alex. How are you?
Good. So let me ask you, John, you've been in this career for 25 years now. So how, in your mind, has this industry changed from when you started out from where it is today?
The biggest changes with the industry are going to be technologically, Alex. Back when I started, we used typewriters, the old kind your parents probably used.
Yeah.
We typed out on ply paper that had like 8 different colored pages, and you would with carbon, and you would type out scripts that way and tear them apart and have different piles. And literally, I got in the business before computers really were being used in the news business. So the technology is just leaps and bounds, not only with computers, but also with cameras and how news is gathered and put together and disseminated. It's all changed over the years.
Mm-hmm. So like you just mentioned about the news stories there, what is your favorite type of stories to cover?
Favorite stories would be ones that affect people. I love any kind of feature story where you could show a side of somebody that people don't know, or you could do a story that perhaps helps people. Those are always my favorites, where you can do something and elicit a response from the audience where they say, I didn't know that, or you know what, that's interesting, let me see if I can help in some way. So those are my favorites.
Mm-hmm. And you do a lot with your job covering the stories and locally here in upstate New York. So I want to ask you, what is the hardest part of your job?
Hardest part of the job is just in these days finding time to get it all done, because we're not only on TV, we're on social media, Facebook, Twitter. You're required to know a lot of what's going on. So there's a lot of reading involved, multiple newspapers online, or the old-fashioned kind, that are printed on paper. And then, working on the shows, working on your social media platform, getting the news out in all different levels. And it's, I don't know what we used to do with all our free time, because now we don't have any. It's just a matter of, that's the most stressful part, is what you're required to do as a journalist, not just here, but as a newspaper journalist, any kind of journalist now, required to put out what they're doing, their work on multiple platforms.
Mm-hmm. So like I mentioned, you've been in this career for 25 years now, so I bet you've been offered a lot of advice, and I want to ask you, what has been the best advice you have ever received in this career?
Best advice, I had a news director in radio where I started who said, I'd rather you be last and right with a story than first and wrong, which means, make sure you have all your facts straight before you put something on the air or put something in print. Because once you put it out there, you can't get it back, and you also can't get your reputation back if you screw up by putting something out there that's completely wrong. So that was good advice for me, and I tell any young people out there to read as much as they can and write as much as they can. I don't care if you're reading Harry Potter or the New York Times or whatever you want to read. Just try to keep your brain active that way with the use of language and what you read, and also sitting down every day and writing something. I don't care if it's poetry or you're writing a novel or writing news stories. Write if you want to be a writer.
Okay, a few more questions before we wrap up this interview. Like I mentioned, you are also an anchor at News Channel 10, and you have to cover the political side of things nowadays. So I want you to express one word. What would you describe this 2016 election race to be?
Unpredictable.
Yeah. Okay, and last question here. I see that you are very big on Facebook, and I like this idea because this is, like you mentioned, about interacting with the people around here locally, and I know you have a dog named Max, and he's probably one of the most popular animals in the capital region, and you also got a new dog, Samuel, that you'll be getting in a few weeks, right?
Yep, getting him in about a week's time or so they'll both be very popular on the page. They're definitely more popular than me.
Okay, Mr. Gray, thank you for coming on the Sports Fusion episode.
Alex, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Have a great rest of your night.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Fuse Nation, you just heard it from Mr. John Gray from News Channel 10 here in upstate New York. His one word to describe this 2016 election race, unpredictable. Thank you, Fuse Nation, for watching this show. I'll be back tomorrow at 1:30 with Jorge Casilla, who is a Washington Nationals beat writer for the MLB, and 2 p.m. with a SportsCenter anchor. Thanks for watching this Sports Fusion episode. I will see you tomorrow.